From a mysteriously abandoned mega skyscraper to an island that ruined China's economy and a city block of skyscrapers that was completely destroyed, here are some of China's most expensive and disastrous construction failures. Number 1. Golden Finance 117. Rising almost 2,000 feet into the air, Golden Finance 117 is the 6th tallest building in the world, easily surpassing famous skyscrapers like New York's World Trade Center. Yet despite being topped out over a decade ago, it remains abandoned and largely forgotten. So what happened to this record-breaking tower? Golden Finance 117 was meant to put Tianjin on the map. The plan was ambitious and unlike anything built at the time, but when construction began in 2008, everything seemed on track. But by 2011, cranes sat frozen at the top, and work had completely halted. While the 2008 financial crisis slowed many large-scale projects in China, it was unusual for a building so close to completion to be left untouched. Nearly $1 billion had already been invested, and finishing the project would have cost just a fraction of that. Reports soon revealed the reason. The project had been severely underfunded from the start. When rising material costs collided with the global financial crisis, everything fell apart. For years, locals could only stare at the tower. Technically, the building was never officially abandoned, but with no workers and no completion date, it became a ghostly presence over Tianjin. The tower sat frozen for more than a decade, making it the tallest abandoned skyscraper in the world. Recently, however, the project has seen a surprising revival. A new group of investors, led by several Chinese developers, has stepped in to finally complete the building. The plan includes finishing the remaining floors, outfitting luxury apartments with modern interiors, and opening a 5-star hotel at the top. Lower levels are being redesigned to house office space, retail areas, and a sky lobby, making the building more attractive to tenants and visitors. Construction crews are back on site, cranes are moving again, and engineers are updating old systems that had started to deteriorate after years of neglect. The estimated cost of the renovation is just under $90 million. While an exact completion date hasn't been confirmed, this renewed push shows that after more than a decade of emptiness, Golden Finance 117 may finally become the landmark Tianjin was promised. Number 2. Sunshine City Towers. While the Golden Finance building remains standing today, the same can't be said for these 15 skyscrapers in Kunming, China. The development was known as Sunshine City and was supposed to contain hundreds of low-income apartments. However, today they show what disasters can occur when a major construction project is planned by an untrustworthy developer. Construction began in 2011, and at first the Sunshine City Towers looked like they would rise without issue. But the developer, Liang Star City, was already struggling beneath the surface, and soon these issues would become too large to ignore. The company had promised a new residential district that would add needed housing to the city of Kunming, but its finances were shaky from the start. Like many overambitious real estate firms in China at the time, Liang expanded too quickly, taking on massive debt while relying heavily on pre-sales to fund construction. This project was the first to topple both literally and metaphorically. By 2013, the cracks finally showed. Investors began backing out, banks refused to provide more credit, and lawsuits from angry homebuyers started to pile up. The Sunshine City Towers, which appeared nearly finished from the outside, were in reality nothing more than facades hiding bare concrete and unfinished interiors. With no money to complete them, the developer left the project completely abandoned. With each passing year, the structures decayed, windows broke, vegetation grew in the cracks, and the towers became a haunting backdrop for the residents who had once dreamed of moving in. In a similar fashion to Golden Finance 117, the tower stood abandoned for over a decade, until eventually in 2021, the developer's financial troubles became so severe that there was only one option left. And a few weeks later, a viral video surfaced showing the demolition of the 15 towers. The once ambitious skyline was erased by over 4 tons of explosives, leaving behind an empty plot of land where a city could have stood. This demolition remains one of the largest in history, and many critics still protest this decision, saying it was a waste of both materials and valuable living space. Number 3. Shanghai Tower. While the previous 2 buildings are clear examples of construction failures, Shanghai Tower appears to be one of the most glamorous skyscrapers on the planet. Rising 632 meters, it is China's tallest building and the 3rd tallest in the world. Its twisting glass facade makes it instantly recognizable and a beacon of modern engineering. But today, many critics view it as a failure and not for reasons you would expect. Construction began in 2008 with a cost of over $2.4 billion, a massive sum even for a skyscraper of its size. From the start, engineers faced enormous technical challenges. The tower was designed to twist as it rose, reducing wind loads. But that innovation required precise, cutting-edge engineering. While the design brought attention to the tower, it heavily reduced its practicality, which soon became a large issue. The construction process was messy in general, and many delays led to the tower being finished 5 years later than expected and well over budget. Early tenants reported elevator malfunctions, water leaks, and other defects that had to be addressed immediately. However, the biggest issue facing the tower was its occupancy. Due to its unorthodox floor plan, the tower was only able to use about 50% of its floor space, causing critics to question its excessive design. While the tower has remained mostly occupied, when compared to office buildings of a similar scale, it is unable to bring in the same number of tenants. This poses a big issue for the developers, who will remain in billions of debt until the tower becomes profitable. Shanghai Tower's story is different from Golden Finance 117 or Sunshine City Towers. It stands completed and admired by the general public, but for its developers, it could easily be considered a multi-billion-dollar failure. Number 4. Hainan Flower Island. Hainan's Ocean Flower Island is easily the most expensive project on this list, but no one truly realized what its failure would mean for the greater Chinese economy. With a price tag well over $10 billion, the goal was to build 3 artificial islands off China's southern coast, designed to rival Dubai's Palm Islands, a project ironically considered one of Dubai's biggest failures. The plans promised luxury hotels, dozens of residential skyscrapers, theme parks, golf courses, and a marina for the world's super yachts. It was marketed as a playground for the wealthy, built on white sand dredged from the ocean floor. The multi-billion-dollar project began in early 2010, dreamed up by Evergrande, China's most aggressive real estate developer. Nicknamed the King of Debt, Evergrande built its empire by borrowing heavily and selling apartments before they were finished. For years, it worked. The company rose from a provincial builder in the 1990s into one of the largest property developers on Earth, with hundreds of projects across China. But its hunger for growth was insatiable, and Ocean Flower Island was the most extravagant symbol of its ambition. But from the start, the cracks showed. Environmental groups slammed the project for destroying coral reefs and mangroves, threatening the fragile marine ecosystem. Engineers struggled to stabilize the man-made land, with several towers reportedly shifting as their foundations settled. Even Evergrande's deep pockets couldn't hide the fact that this project was slightly out of their means. Nevertheless, investors began to show interest in the project, betting on another real estate boom. But when buildings began to open, buyers never arrived in the numbers Evergrande promised. Many towers stood empty, and the world-class attractions were left half-finished. From a distance, the island looked like a futuristic paradise. Up close, it felt like a ghost city. To make things worse, the story of Ocean Flower Island became inseparable from the collapse of Evergrande itself. By 2021, the company was drowning in over $300 billion of debt, sparking China's largest real estate crisis. As the company went under, projects across the country stalled, homeowners protested, and investors were left stranded. Ocean Flower Island remains today as a half-finished reminder of what disasters excess can cause.